Kim, you have officially finally finished our, what did we call it? You've gone through the 90-day breakthrough. We extended a little bit of time. We were a little bit more than 90 days. And I kind of just want to ask you a couple of questions about your experience, what that was like. So I think the first thing I want to know is really what got you even thinking about having a coach? Where were you at? What were you looking for?
Okay, I stepped on the scale one day, you know how we all like to pretend it doesn't exist anymore. And the numbers sort of like, whoa. And of course I knew my clothes were fitting a little bit snugger than I wanted them to. It had been COVID, so I hadn't been to the Y in about 15 months, but I was trying to walk just for some exercise. I had worked with nutritionists one-on-one before, but I had never worked with like a coach one-on-one, a fitness coach. And so, you just reach that point where you're like, some things got to change. Either I have to go buy a whole new wardrobe, I have to accept the new, fatter me, or I can do something about it. And I'm always a, do something about it kind of person when it makes sense. So I saw your videos. I'm not really sure how we connected on Facebook, but I liked everything you were saying, right? There was some lady who said, or you said you could still have pizza once a week. Okay, great. If I can have pizza once a week and lose weight, I want to end. Doing something from home. I have my own business. I work from home. I'm not really a people person. I wanted to kind of be able to, sorry.
That's why we connect. We're not people.
I don't really like people. No, but I wanted to be able to stay at home. I really loved that option. And 20 to 30 minutes a day, I'm like, if I can't find that kind of time for myself, then, I deserve what I get. So I liked your approach. I liked your philosophy. I had studied all kinds of, food and eating ideas in the past, and none of them were working for me, right? I was clean and healthy eating, blood type eating, paleo eating. I was doing all the food things that they say are important. So I figured a fitness coach to kick my butt, get me going every day, sounded like the right choice. And
I think it's the right choice. Now, an interesting thing you said, and I definitely want to talk about that and hit it early on in this video. We've talked about it a ton, eat pizza once a week, still lose weight. Kim, yes. How much weight did you lose with our program?
Okay, I'm going to be honest and shock the audience. Nothing. I lost nothing. I gained things, not weight. I did not gain weight, but I didn't lose weight. So,
so what was that? First of all, was that frustrating?
It was a whole lot of frustrating.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we measure ourselves by certain things. What size clothes do we wear? What's the number on the scale? None of us really care about our blood pressure and cholesterol numbers nearly as much. But I was frustrated because I felt like I was doing all the right things and not seeing results. But I was encouraged because I was paying attention to my health again. I was following your instructions to not focus on you're a bad person because you had a piece of pizza on Friday night, but how can I take the wins? I love that you always did that. Like, what was your big win this week? And then just talking to somebody about it, like being honest, not just a friend who says, oh, but you're still so cute, or you still look great. That's great, girl, but I'm, X amount of pounds, and that's not where I want to be. So.
Right. And I think one of the things that I loved so much and was very scared about working with you is you had done all the research and you've done all the things and trying to sort of figure it out and find new ways to approach what we're doing. And even though you didn't actually lose any weight, knowing that you didn't gain any, right? Like you were still where you were, but now you weren't like focused crazy on what you were eating. You weren't like consumed and obsessed with it. You weren't worried about like, oh my gosh, this isn't the window that I can eat in. And oh my gosh, I can't eat that food because that doesn't match my blood type. And so I think for me, that was a huge win working with you. Like you didn't gain any, like I sure as heck wish we could have figured out the losing aspect, but that you weren't overly consumed and obsessed and you were still gaining health. And I loved that. Talk to me a little bit about the workouts.
The workouts?
What was that like for you?
I really liked working out with you. So for starters, we mentioned I have been doing a lot of healthy things for many, many years. I've had a gym membership since my kid was, a toddler, and he's now a senior in college. So I was used to going for an hour or more to the gym and still just kind of not seeing major results, but feeling healthy. Yours, you said were going to be 30 minutes. They offered a lot of variety. There was some modifications. I had a little bit of a shoulder issue going on. I knew I had some things that just kind of tweaked my knee if I did it a certain way. So you gave variety, you asked what I liked, and really kind of narrowed down. I wanted sort of 3 days of strength and 2 days of the cardio. And I don't like high cardio, which you totally loved. I happen to love the, what's the boxing
MMA
kind
style.
of,
Yep.
yes. I mean, for whatever reason that gets me going. I really
Because
like
you're
it.
kicking
So,
butt.
yes. And everything kicked my butt. Everything was hard, but not to the point where, it discouraged me. And there's a fine line there between pushing yourself and going too far to where you're hurt, you're tired, you're sore, you just don't want to go on. So I
Okay.
like that part.
So you mentioned tired. Talk to me. Energy level. How was your energy level throughout this process?
My energy level was good. And some of that I contribute to the way you talk to me about food. So like a lot of us, we've heard don't eat any carbs, right? Take all the carbs out, no rice, no bread, no potatoes. And so I was really kind of sustaining on protein. I really like protein, some veggies and some fruit. And there's always a little bit of carbs thrown in here and there. So once you kind of got me thinking about a healthy carb is energy, and I could get through that 2 to 3 o'clock afternoon slump when I wanted a nap. I don't do caffeine. I don't drink sodas. So I didn't have any of those artificial things. That made a nice difference to keep my energy up and going.
Yeah, I love that each week kind of trying to figure out like, okay, the scale's not moving, but what are all these awesome things happening? All right. So the big question, the big kind of, let's break it down for some people that might be watching. This program is not inexpensive. You're investing some money and some time, and to go through this whole process with this huge investment that you made, and not to hit the initial goals that you set. Like, was it worth it? How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
What is that like for you?
You're right. It's not inexpensive. I did not tell my husband what I spent, but I have my own discretionary spending. Thank you very much, girls. And so there were times during it where you're going, hey, I spent a lot of money and I'm following all the things. The takeaways were, and I do credit you with this, it was always, what are your wins? What are the things? Because it's easy to just look at the negatives and go, well, I didn't lose any weight again. I didn't lose any weight again. I was making sure I made time for myself every morning, that 30 minutes of exercise time that I wouldn't otherwise do. Just the positive mental energy, right? Knowing that nobody's going to take this body and go work it out. Nobody's going to take this body and go feed it better if I don't do it. And that's huge, especially as moms, as wives, as business owners, volunteers. It's so easy to let everything else come before you. And that mental switch to say, you know what, I got to put me first. And if I can't find 30 stinking minutes a day for me, then there's a lot more going wrong than just the number on my scale. So the positives that came out of it, and I do tell people I don't think it's your fault. It wasn't that I was cheating or not saying I was doing things. I felt like what I learned, the attitude that you brought and I adopted, and that getting toner, feeling better, moving intentionally, all made a difference. So to me, it was worth it, even if that number on the scale did not go down.
Right. And in full disclosure, we're going to figure that out. And I know you've done some, checking hormones with doctors and things. And so there definitely could be something more going on that we're missing. And, to share with anybody that's watching, what I love about the programming that I do, it's individualized. It's not a cookie cutter. And so you and I were able to kind of change things up as we went. I was able to bring new ideas in, try them out with you. We were able to play around with the timing in your contract. We did extend the time a bit to try some different things, to try to make it work. And in the end, you've been one of my favorite people ever to work with, which is just incredible. And I love just the attitude that you brought each and every week. And I think that's one of the benefits of working with a coach. I see so many women they'll do all the right things for like 4 or 5 weeks and they don't see the changes that they want. And so they stop, but it's week 6 that they start, like if they just stuck with it, that the changes start happening. And even though the scale didn't do what you wanted, the attitude that you brought each and every week was just fire. And it was so much fun learning from you, growing with you. I appreciate you so much. I'm so sad that that you've graduated, but that's the whole point of this program, is not to keep you paying forever and ever. It's to teach you what to do so that you can carry on your own. And I'm going to miss you in this capacity, but you're stuck with me now. You're stuck with me.
I am stuck with you. I do feel like I created a friend out of this, because we did talk about some other things, and it's important to understand that more of what's going on in your world does feed into it. So if you're having struggles in some area, is that mentally blocking you? Or like you said, giving up after a certain time? I know for certain, I probably after, 30 days or so would have said, you know what, the scale's not moving. I've given up this, I've done that, and it's just not showing results. But your positive attitude, your willingness to work with me, you'd say, okay, we tried this kind of changes with your eating. Let's try this and see how it happens. And really just delving into the details and figuring out what's working. And do we need to do more weight training or more cardio or whatever the mix was? So I'm thankful that you kept me on and you made it worth my while, because there was that little bit of a, hey, I hate to end come to the end of my program and nothing changed. And you're like, bye, see ya.
Right.
So sorry. You didn't do that. I can tell you genuinely cared. And that makes all the difference. And it also makes me want to keep on keeping on.
Well, and I love that you were able to see enough of the positive changes that you're not going to stop. You've created a habit now where now if you don't get up and work out, you probably feel a little thrown.
Yes, and I would have to report back to Dawn that I did not do my workout. Accountability is huge. I never used to think it was, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big people person. I don't need or require affirmation from others. But the one-on-one coaching completely changed how I think about that, because it does make a difference to have somebody on your team. Now, for some people, it might be their spouse or somebody else that they're close to, but kind of as an impartial third party. Giving that, I think was key. It was significant.
And I do think, and I talk with people all the time about, when you're paying for a service, and sometimes you have to have a serious investment in order to make serious change. And it's one of the reasons that I will continue to stand by certain pricing, because when you have enough skin in the game and it matters enough to you, that's when you start to do the work. And that's where magic a lot of times happens. Yeah. I am so thankful that we have connected, that we have gotten to work together. I can't wait to we're still going to figure it out. Really not done with you.
Something's going on. And hormones and things like that, full disclosure, I'm, of an age where some of those things are happening, and the doctors just go, hey,
well, and
midlife.
And before we end, I also love that you say we do talk about the other things, because your weight, your health, it's not just about your fitness and nutrition. It's your sleep, it's your stress levels, it's what's going on at work, what's going on at home. And I think that's really important. And it's one of my favorite parts of coaching is having the opportunity to actually sit down and Zoom once a week, figure out what went well, what do we need to improve, what do we need to change, what's coming up that we can't anticipate. And that's just been so invaluable for me. I know it has been for you, but it has been for me as well.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much. Before I shut the recording off, is there anything else that I'm missing that you can think of?
I just want to tell people, if you feel like you have hit a bump or you are facing a wall that you just don't feel like you can push through, and you've tried a lot of other things like I did, I've done tons of studying and trying of things on my own, try Dawn. Dawn is going to care. Some people are judgmental, some people are pushy, some people are get in your face and yell at you. If you need that, okay, more power to you. But I would recommend, Dawn, make the investment in yourself. Make that 30-minute time frame work for yourself. Look at your food through new eyes, not from some little strange pyramid that somebody has created for you. And think about your wins, right? If there are other wins that you can take away, then that makes a difference. And the weekly calls keep you on track with that. When it's easy to say, I don't want to talk to her, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, Dawn is going to pump you back up and make you see there was some kind of win in there, even if it's just a super great hair day. I'm just kidding, but and I do feel like I've made a friend. I know, she charges for her program, but hopefully she'll still chat with me every now and then.
I'll have to pay you to hang out with me, right? Kim, thank you so much. I'm going to cut the recording